Thermogenesis is nothing but a fancy word for the production of heat in your body. The more heat body needs to produce, the more calories it has to burn. Calories, the amount of heat your body has to produce, or the amount of heat required to heat 1 gram of water up 1 degree of Celsius. You acquire the calories from the food that you eat. You're going to use calories for a lot of different things in your body. You're going to burn calories for fuel. You're going to use them for chewing your food, creating the digestive enzymes required to start to break them down, swallowing your food, heating the food up just to core temperature because it's in your body. As the heat radiates to the food, the muscular contractions required to move the food along, breathing, all kind of tissue repairs, your heart beating, etc., etc. All these things cost energy. Your basal metabolic rate is going to be the amount of energy when you're at rest that you are required to burn just to keep your body running, just to be idling. Thermogenesis is when you are burning calories, converting them to heat. And this is an effective way that you can manipulate, take advantage of, and lose body fat. So you ask, how the fuck can I do that? Well, I'm going to try and tell you. It's fucking frigid out here. And that brings us to cold-induced thermogenesis. Cold-induced thermogenesis, while not necessarily practical for many people, because a lot of people aren't going to tolerate the exposure to the cold for any kind of real long period, of constitute discomforting for most. But science has shown that it has been credited with raising your caloric burn rate as much as 40%. 40%. That's whopper. One study on thermogenesis and environment studied some people that took a group of people from California, moved them to Antarctica for 5 months. And in Antarctica, because of the increased cold, the ambient temperature, they were able to eat 40% more calories every day without gaining any body fat. Of course, that's an extreme example. One study involving over 1,000 people showed that the higher the indoor temperature is set, the bigger the waistline gets. According to science, even small reductions in indoor temperature can help you drop body fat over time. Of course, it's easy for me to say sitting here next to this fucking raging, not really, but sort of, fire. But the weather starts getting a little chilly. Don't let that keep you inside. Get your ass outside. Burn some extra calories. If you normally layer up, wear enough clothes that you're actually hot, you can forget about any extra calorie burn because of cold ambient temperatures, cold air temperatures. Also, science has proven that the colder months, if you're in a seasonal location, those are the months best for losing weight. Here's another tip. When you get in your car and drive to work, maybe don't let it warm up in the mornings. Just get in it and freeze your fucking balls off. Drive your ass to work and lose some of that fat. Lose your fat over the wintertime. It's going to be easier. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's always going to be uncomfortable. Then when the winter is over and the clothes start to come off, the new you is underneath, ready to be revealed. Oh, and another study has shown that our ability to burn additional calories in the cold improves over time. We're talking about smaller amounts of cold, not drastic differences, because it's unrealistic to expect that most people are going to freeze their asses off for it. So, my advice, chill out. Burn some body fat. What about exercise-induced thermogenesis? Yes, of course you burn calories when you exercise. But what's very interesting is one study, they looked at people who burned the same amount of calories. It was 800 calories whether they were walking or whether they were running. However, the difference is this. Now, of course, the durations are different. The difference was this. The people who ran, they continued to burn additional calories much longer and much greater afterwards, in the hours after the exercise had been completed, as opposed to the people that did the walking, who continued to burn some more calories, but nowhere near as much for nowhere near as long. Point is, if you exercise at 50% intensity or 75% of your full intensity, the difference is going to be when you finish exercising. If you went 75% as opposed to 50%, you'll continue to burn more calories afterwards. And the last way you can take advantage of thermogenesis happens to be my favorite way, and that's diet-induced thermogenesis. Diet-induced thermogenesis. And when you're doing that, the trick is you don't want to take in more calories. You don't need to take in less calories. You want your calories to stay the same. You're just going to rearrange the macros and change up the foods you're consuming. That's how you're going to do it. It's the same thing that I've discussed previously. When I came up with some unconventional fat loss tips or diet tips, whatever the hell I named that video. And, it's the way that I've always done it for over a decade. And it works. And it's not, I didn't create it, I didn't invent it. There's a shitload of science to back it up. There's a ton of studies on it. It's not like it's some kind of esoteric, hard thing to comprehend. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be new for a lot of people, and it's going to work for everybody. But what we're going to have to do is cover it in another video. It deserves its own separate video because it's a bit more complicated, and I don't want to drag this out and take forever with it. So these were just some quickie shorty tips, and hopefully tomorrow night I'm going to sit down and make the video about dietary-induced thermogenesis, which is my favorite. But if you employ that, coupled with some of these other suggestions maybe, turn the fucking heat down in the house a little bit, particularly at nighttime when you're in bed anyway. Maybe don't cover up so much. Maybe crack the window a little bit. I don't know what you're willing to put up with. Make it a little bit colder on yourself. Don't heat the car up when you get in the car in the mornings. Let the car warm up. Don't turn the heater on. Drive it to work chilly. Drive to work freezing. Little bit by little bit at a time. You go to drink your water, drink iced water. It's got to heat up to core temperature. Just remember, calories are the coin of the realm. Everything costs calories, so just think about it in those terms. Think about it in those terms. And Jody, one of our long-term viewers, he actually is ahead of me because he was already catching on to a whole bunch of this. I noticed the way he phrased something in the comments section in a recent video where he was talking about eating junk and stuff like that and how he still got larger, still gained muscle that way, right? Gain more size, eating more processed type of oriented shit. Yeah, well, that will work to make you bigger, and this is going to work to make you leaner, going the opposite direction. More fiber, things that are more expensive to digest and assimilate and metabolize. So we'll get into that and explain all that in great detail tomorrow night. And then the night after that, you guys can put yourselves a diet together and get started on it. Get in shape for, the Arnold if you're going, or just get in shape for when the cold weather's over and the clothes can start to come back off. Till then, have an excellent night. Stay warm, but get ready. Get ready. Got to turn that heat down. Chill out a little bit. Burn some fat.